Oh, they got donuts backing up on me. Oh, hi. Um, this is a topic that's really blown up on social media lately. Sorry, I almost fell out of the chair. um, this topic, people have talked about it over the years and stuff, but I feel like it's being discussed a lot more lately. More people are really kind of talking about it and stuff, so that I'd put my 2 cents in it, if you will. um, Now, a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about in this video are things that I've kind of been wanting to incorporate into other videos, so I'm going to throw it all together into this. It's all related to the same topic, though, so just bear with me if I'm kind of bouncing around a bit and the cat's yowling over here, if you're wondering what that noise is. Now, the thing is, it's no secret that video games can be an expensive hobby, but are video games becoming too expensive? I think yes and no. Now, I know video game prices vary all around the world, but let's just say $50 or $60 to kind of round it off. I think $50 or $60 is a fair price if the game is complete. Not like missing content that you have to pay extra for. You have to pay like an extra $5 or $10 for something that should have been in the game to begin with. No, all that aside, just the whole game, the whole experience, $50 or $60. I think that's a pretty good price. But because some people like wait for a game to go down in price or wait for it to go on sale or something. That's fine because I do it myself. Like there's certain games that like when it first comes out and it's like oh, I have to get that. That's a day one buy for me. There's other ones that I'm like I could wait till it goes down in price. But the thing, because I know some people don't care, but that's like the more elitist types that like everyone should do that. Everyone should go for deals and discounts and stuff. But think about it for a second. If that happened, what would happen to the gaming industry as a whole? Just think about that for a second. Maybe indie games would blow up a lot more, but probably most likely because those aren't as expensive to make as newer games, like big budget AAA games. But and that's the thing, because the thing is, like basically, I know that these games are expensive to produce, especially like I've just graphics alone. Look at how much graphics have evolved over the years. God, I remember, and I go way back. Like I was born in the middle of the 8-bit era, so I remember, and I have a very strong memory, which is why I do those gaming memorabilia videos. But that's another story. But I've seen like how much graphics have evolved over the years. I remember seeing 16-bit go to 32-bit to 64-bit to 128-bit, and I think we stopped talking about bits after that, but you get my point. So I know that these games are more expensive to mass produce, like now than they were like way back, and they obviously have to make that money back. But and the thing, let's say you buy Crash Bandicoot, the like remastered collection for the PS4 at Walmart, and you paid $50 for it, right? That $50 that you spent on the game, some of it goes to Activision, some of it goes to Sony, and the rest goes to the Walmart that you bought the store at. So, that's another thing to think about. The money that you spend on a game doesn't all go to one place. It's like divided. But I understand when it comes to like making their money back, and it's like the whole like loot boxes and microtransactions, because that's making video games like obviously more expensive and stuff. But I don't hate them necessarily. I do and I don't. Fortunately, I only have 2 games that have loot boxes. That's Halo 5 and Gears of War 4. And for me personally, the multiplayer in those games doesn't get stale, so I don't necessarily mind like racking up points and like saving them up to buy like a box to just get like random armor or gear or whatever, or to customize your character or whatever. I would prefer it was like the older games where you could buy whatever you want with all these points, but unfortunately it isn't. And the whole thing with loot boxes, the problem with those is it's literally a scam any way you look at it. Like, here's a perfectly good example. My brother, he really wanted Emil's outfit, like his helmet and his armor, which are obviously come separately. He really wanted that the helmet, Emil's helmet and armor in Gears of War, in Halo 5. Sorry, cast distracted me. But anyway, he really wanted that, and the only way to get it is to buy gold loot boxes, which is either 10,000 points or $10. Now my brother has a 2-year-old son, and he works 2 jobs, so he has to make time to play Halo Online and save up enough points to get a gold loot box, and his chances of getting Emil's helmet or armor is like slim to none. Which, so what they're trying to do is people like him to just be like, oh, screw this, I'm just going to take my credit card and buy a whole bunch of gold loot boxes. Fortunately, he didn't do that. But he did get the helmet and armor eventually, but he didn't use real money. I'm the same way, no matter what happens. Like I said, those are the only 2 games I have with loot boxes, but no matter what, I would never spend real money on loot boxes. No fucking way. Unfortunately, there are people who will, because it's like, because I know people who are like, refuse to buy games with microtransactions and loot boxes. I can't say I blame them, but for every person who refuses to acknowledge these games, there's like 20 more people who will, you know. And another thing with loot boxes is, think about like kids, the ones who, I mean, obviously, I'm sure it's not uncommon that you hear about like kids finding their parents' credit cards to buy boxes and stuff, but imagine like there's this kid that's 8 or 9 years old. He has a game which uses loot boxes, and there's this really special item he wants, but the only way to get it is to buy the most expensive loot box. So then for his birthday or Christmas, his friends and family get him a whole bunch of points cards. So he's like, oh sweet, I can buy a bunch of loot boxes and get that item I wanted, because, well, I'm not trying to sound rude, crude or anything, I just know this for a fact, that kids can be very naive. I mean, we were like that too. Like, remember Nintendo Power, when you had those contests like, ooh, you can win a trip to California or Hollywood or whatever, and or you can meet Jackie Chan, and you're like, oh, this is awesome, I'm going to win that contest, I can't wait to go to Hollywood or meet Jackie Chan, and then, you know, you're all excited, you can't wait to do it, you make plans and everything, and you don't win. You know, because reality slaps you hard in the face. And because, you know, we're young and naive, like I said, so imagine these little kids that they get these points cards and it's like, oh great, I can finally get that item I wanted, buys like 3 loot boxes, the most expensive ones. Does he get that item he wanted? Nope. Bunch of random crap that he either already has or doesn't want, so he literally just threw all that money away and didn't get what he wanted. That's just so evil. Like, the fact that these companies do it, and unfortunately, the thing is, first of all, I know it's not necessarily the companies, I mean, it's not the developers, it's like, because a lot of people say this, it's the people higher up on the ladder that make them, like, you're putting loot boxes in that game. Like, look at EA, for example, like, Star Wars, I'm a big Star Wars nerd. I love even the new Disney movies, I love those ones. Like, Rogue One, I didn't really enjoy that much, but the like 7 and 8 and stuff, I love, like, even the prequels, I love all the Star Wars movies. Star Wars Battlefront 2, I refuse to buy that game. No. Because, I mean, the thing I don't get is, it's one thing to take old games and remaster them, like, look at Shadow Colossus, like, that game is epic, so the fact that it's remastered for the PS4 is awesome, because it's such a great game. But how do you, because I know a lot of people, like I said, people love to see old games get remastered with HD graphics and stuff, but how do you do that and literally, like, subtract content, which is literally what happened with Battlefront 2. Like, and it, and then it's so watered down with loot boxes that it's just, then the game is so dependent on them, and when they took them out, now the game is just completely broken, like, you can't even play it, pretty much. I mean, I've never played it, but from, like, I know, yeah. Oh, God. And there's rumors going around that EA might lose the rights to Star Wars, which, that would be awesome to see, because, I mean, when EA gained the rights to Star Wars years ago, I was like, oh, this is why. I mean, it's like, let's say a developer was working on a game for, like, a Star Wars open world adventure game where you play as Obi-Wan. It takes place in between episodes 3 and 4. And people are really excited for it. The game is like 80% done. There's so much hype around it. And then EA suddenly decides, or like the head of the EA decides, yeah, we're going to have to go ahead and cancel that game because we can't find any way to put loot boxes in there. Like, so you're basically canceling a game that's overly hyped just because you can't milk your customers dry. And again, it's the people... You know, my sister stated it perfectly, because it's not just video game, it's everything in general, the whole working industry. It's like, the wrong people are in power. Like, I guarantee you, a lot of the companies, these game companies, I guarantee you, a lot of the people at the top have never picked up a controller in their life. So that's why they end up screwing over the consumer, or the customers. And it's why, like, a lot of these great game companies, like, that we grew up with, like, take Konami, for example. It's, God, they made games like Contra, Castlevania, I mean, these great franchises, and it's like, not only that, but they made some of the best licensed game around back in the day. I'm sure everybody's asked this question, it's like, what happened to them? I mean, they're just, like, I don't get it. They've literally killed off all their great franchises, they've driven away all their help. And the thing was, I think it was last year around this time, they were talking about making a comeback. They're like, it seemed like they were starting to see the light. Like, okay, we need our consumers. I mean, we need our customers. We need to rely on them to survive. And it was like, okay, maybe we can get some people to bring back some of these old franchises and stuff. And it's just like, I'm thinking like, okay, maybe they're getting better. We'll see what happens. But then they dropped Metal Gear Survive, which, to be perfectly honest, I never really got into the Metal Gear games, but I know how iconic they are. So, and I feel like with Metal Gear Survive, it's like, I feel like they just slapped together some random horror survival game, you know, put in some Metal Gear characters and stamped the Metal Gear name on it. And then, oh my god, the whole save slot thing, that paid for save slots or extra save slots, whatever. The whole I think that's a bad thing because, well, I mean, we all do, but let me tell you why I think that's a really bad thing. Because if this catches on, hopefully it doesn't, but if it does, like other companies say, like, oh, I like that idea, I'm going to do that too. You know damn well somebody's going to take it to the next level, and they'll make it so you have to pay to save the game in general. And I don't know, none of us want to see that happen, no. And that's why I think, when it comes to, like, buying a game for... Because I know people will, like... I'm kind of getting into conclusion here. People will, like, wait for games to go down in price or go on sale, which is fine. I do that, too. Because, like, there are certain games, when they come out, I'm like, oh, I have to have that. That's a day one buy from you. But others, I'm like, I can wait till it goes down in price. Even if it's... Like Nintendo titles, those take forever to go down in price, but I'm like, nope, it's fine, I can wait. I'm in no hurry to play the game. Most people don't really care. Like, I mean, if like other people buy the game for full price, unfortunately, some people don't really care. But there are the more elitist types that think everybody should wait till they go down in price. The thing is, if that happened, if everybody bought a game, like AAA games especially, if everybody bought it for a fraction of the price of the original retail price, what would happen to the gaming industry as a whole? Just think about that for a second. Cat's yelling again. Sorry, I think he's hungry. I'll feed him as soon as I'm done. I know, I'm gonna feed you. But think about that. Like, what would happen if everybody bought a game for a discounted price? I mean, indie games might take off a lot more, which would be nice to see, because those are, like, cheaper to mass produce. And, you know, they're made by people who are more... Most of them, anyway, are made by people who are more passionate about gaming. Poople. It sounds like Rugrats. They call poodles pooples. Getting off topic there. But... So I guess that's about it. You know, so... What do you guys think about... Are video games becoming too expensive? Should we all look for retail prices? Or should we just let it go the way it is? Because... You know, unfortunately, I know some people say, like, oh, it's ruining the hobby for me, and that's the thing. One guy, I forget what was on a video, two people were kind of arguing about loot boxes or something, and some guy's like, the guy ended it with, well, it's like, well, find yourself another hobby then, because the damage has been done. That sounds a bit harsh, but I think he's kind of right, unfortunately, because I don't think loot boxes are going anywhere, because like I said, for those of us who refuse to support them, there's other people who will. So we'll see what the future might hold for us. Until next time, everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and Randomark 3087 is out.